20 miles an hour, so it may present some problems for the kickers and the passers as USC prepares to do battle against the Washington Huskies. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Walden, along with the 1965 Heisman Trophy winner, Mike Garrett. And to preview the show, perhaps you could say it best this way. The Huskies playing for the Rose Bowl, USC playing for the national championship.
Mike, and you're absolutely right. The Huskies have to win either the game against the Trojans or against Washington State next week. And we know the Trojans are in the running for the national championship, and they have 3 games left: Washington, Notre Dame, and UCLA. And for them to really put it together, they have to put a 3-game winning streak to do that.
The Trojans have done an outstanding job on offense the last couple of games. They've been averaging 47 points a game, victories over Cal and Stanford. And the SC defense has been magnificent. Ranks 3rd in the nation against the Rush, and the Huskies would like to run the ball.
You're right. The defense has just been terrific with Lott and Banks and Smith and company. And I think the Huskies are going to have a tough time running the ball. But the big thing is SC's offense. And the SC's offense has a good day. The defense gets a rest. And then Marcus Allen and Gordon Adams can really generate a lot of points.
Well, we've got a beautiful day for football despite the wind. Temperature 70 degrees and a crowd of about 60,000 here today for the Huskies of the University of Washington against the Trojans of USC. The best coaches in the Pac-10 Conference, if not, in fact, the entire nation, on opposite sides today, and their records from November 1st on through the month of November and in December and postseason play bears that out. John Robinson, 20-1 in late season competition. His only loss, oddly enough, was against the Huskies up in Seattle in November of 1977. And you can see the record of Don James, and 3 of his 5 losses in the month of November were to USC. So a couple of adversaries meeting head-on as the Trojans and USC prepare to do battle, and it'll be Chuck Nelson kicking off for the Huskies. SC will receive and defend the West goal to our left. We're underway in the Coliseum. Marv Williams bobbles the ball to the 15. Marv Williams struggles to get close to the 20-yard line. Tackled by Tony Alvarado. So the Trojans now, who have been racking up big scores of late, start off on offense with a first down from their 20. USC has a 28-game unbeaten streak, the longest in the nation, also longest in the school's history. The Trojans are 7-0-1, number 2 in the wire service polls this week, AP, UPI. SC 4-0-1 in the Pac-10. Here is the first play from scrimmage. Gordon Adams at quarterback. Rock Shani coming in motion. And it's the DeLulo busting his way up to the 27-yard line. Ken Driscoll, an interior linebacker for the Huskies, put him down. But right off the bat, I think the Huskies were anticipating the tailback, Marcus Allen. They got the fullback, Paul DeLulo, instead.
And Mike, that takes a lot of pressure off the offensive game when the fullback can run so well. And DeLulo, who's been blocking so well, gets a chance to run, and it's great to see.
You know, Paul DeLulo carried the ball only 8 times last year. This carry was his 24th this season. 2nd and 3 for the Trojans. Marcus Allen stopped just shy of the first down by the nose guard of the Huskies, Mark Giroux. Now, when you talk about the defense for the Huskies, they lost 9 out of 11 starters from a year ago. And SC had a struggle against this club in Seattle a year ago this time, winning, however, 24-17.
Mike, you know, you better take note that 67, Giroux, is going to be the focal man throughout the defensive game for Washington. And he was just pointing to the referee saying that look at the 2 guards and look at the center, because they're doing weird things on the play that DeLulo gained. Then he comes right back and makes the tackle. So I would say look at him throughout the game, and he will determine how Washington plays today.
The Trojans just did get the necessary yardage for the first down as the referee, Dave Kamensky, spotted the ball after 30. 1st and 10. Adams has time, and now he does it. Down he goes at 3. Huskies punching to the turf back at the 23. One man in there was Fletcher Jenkins. Another was 82, Brett Gagliardi. He's an outside linebacker. So Gordon Adams is sacked back at the 23, a loss of 7. 2nd and 17 now. Out over the ball comes Alan Pugh. He's one of the co-captains today for SC. The other being the injured nose guard, Ty Sperling, who wasn't able to play this year because of an injury. Adams looking for Kevin Williams, dumps it off. He's got Williams at the 24, and Williams goes down right at the 24-yard line. Brett Gagliardi was over there on the play for the Huskies.
Mike, Washington's trying to do something very clever at this time where they're going to they want SC to pass. They don't want them to run, so they're going to give a set that Gordon Adams can see the audibilize to a passing play, and they've done that, and so far been very successful.
They're down in 17 for the Trojans. Dave Komeski is the referee. The umpire is Dave Brazell. We'll get to the other officials in just a moment. In motion, Simmons. Adams bumps right into Marcus Allen. That was a mix-up. It was almost like Adams was tackling Marcus Allen. And Fletcher Jenkins, the defensive left tackle of the Huskies, made sure that the play didn't go any further.
Mike, this is a sign of pregame jitters. They just had two great games back-to-back, and now they're playing Washington, and it looks like the Trojans are just kind of jittery at this time.
Dave Pryor is ready to punt for the Trojans, and Ray Horton, is ready to receive for the Huskies. Almost blocked. The Huskies like to send about 9-10 guys when they can. This is Horton. Horton to midfield and put down hard at the 47 of USC. But the Huskies, after the 38-yard punt by Dave Pryor, a 9-yard return by Horton, the tackle made by Don Jones. And now the Huskies are really in business with a first down at the USC 46. We have played about 2.5 minutes so far in the first quarter, no score. Huskies now, first and 10 from the SC 46. Tom Flick, who has completed 61% of his passes so far this year. Flick dumps it off to Roseborough, makes a one-handed catch, and Willie Roseborough is put down at the 41-yard line. Tackle made by Joey Browner.
Mike, this observation may be kind of premature, but the Trojans look kind of flat. And they're not being explosive like they were last week. And this is sort of a natural tendency. When a team goes back and has two great games, they will be flat. But the question is, will they get out of it in time enough to have a good game?
It's good to see Ricky Gray back in there at one of the linebacking spots for USC. Gray was injured in the Arizona game almost a month ago. Now back in the starting role again. Pass is dropped at the 25-yard line. It was intended for Anthony Allen, who was covered by Joey Browner. That'll set up a 3rd and 5 for the Huskies from the SC 41-yard line. Toussaint Tyler is the #1 rusher for the Huskies, but Tyler carried only twice last week in the victory over Arizona. He's got a bad knee, and Tyler is in uniform, but he did not start today. I think that Don James wants to play this kind of loose, knowing that he doesn't have that good of a chance to defeat SC, knowing that he's got to beat Washington State in Spokane a week away to go to the Rose Bowl. Fleck throws, and he's got Scansey. Scansey slips one tackle and then is bumped out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Joey Browner ran Paul Scansey out of bounds. But the first man who had a shot at Scansey was Ricky Gray, and Scansey was able to get by Gray.
Washington is doing something that the Trojans haven't seen this year, and that's what they're going to do, is run a lot of play-action passes and run just enough to keep you respecting their play-action game. So you're going to see a lot of passes throughout this game, Mike.
That was a 10-yard gain. Flick to Paul Scansey. First down, Huskies at the Trojan 31. This is Kyle Stevens trying to get to the outside. And clapping a bear hug on him is Eric Scoggins. They will probably spot the ball down around the 30. So depending on where they place the ball, 30 or the 31, they're going to put it down at the 30-yard line. So credit Kyle Stevens with a gain of 1 on the play. 2nd and 9 at the 30. The Huskies have a 7-2 overall record, 4-1 in the Pac-10. Remember the game the Huskies lost in league play?
Yes, I think it was against SC in 19...
No, I'm talking about this year. Flick rolls out to the right, looking for Scansey, and he's got Williams, drops the ball at the 15. Aaron Williams, normally a sure-handed receiver, and Flick put that ball right in his numbers at about the 15, and he couldn't hold on. Perhaps one reason was Eric Scoggins. Perhaps another was Jeff Fisher.
Yes, and perhaps they looked at the films last week and saw Marjoram and company from the Stanford Cardinals take a beating, and they see those things, and they're going to anticipate what the Trojans may do to him, Mike. But the big key is Glick. He's going to be the key to him, and if he has a good day, the Huskies may have a great game against the Trojans.
Three wide receivers to the right side. Anthony Allen, Paul Scansey, and Aaron Williams are throwing for Scansey. Knocked away by Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott, who is just having a sensational season for the Trojans, knocked that ball away. And Ronnie Lott has now a total of 13 passes broken up this season. That's an average of almost 2 a game.
Mike, he's just a great athlete.
Now on 4th and 9, we'll get a field goal attempt by Chuck Nelson. This will be from the 37-yard line. Cowens, the backup quarterback, will hold. Mike Riley will make the snap. Nelson is 15 out of 20 in field goal attempts this year. An active way, gets up, got the distance, goal! A 47-yard field goal by Chuck Nelson, and that is his 16th field goal this year. It also ties the longest distance in a field goal try by Nelson. So the Huskies draw first blood here today in the Los Angeles Coliseum with 11:28 to go, first period. A rare experience for USC. First time in 1980, SC has been behind in a game. Huskies 3 and the Trojans nothing.
The big fear the Trojans have is that they may get behind in the game, Mike, and not be able to have to come back and score. And because their offense is designed to turn them out. So let's see if the Trojans fall behind, then we'll know if we have a big problem today.
Michael Harper fielding the kickoff. Touchback, 1st and 10. Trojans from the 20. John Robinson hopes for big things here today. If he gets this victory, it'll be his 50th coaching career at USC. And John is in his 5th year, which means that he's been averaging better than 10 wins per game in his tenure.
That's an awesome record.
Indeed it is when you think about the schedule that USC plays. They always have Notre Dame on the schedule, always UCLA. Here is the pitch to the tailback Allen, and just as he started to make a cut, lost his footing. Falling on top of him, the cornerback, Ray Horton. That'll be a loss of 2 yards. What's going on here today, Mike?
Michael, you know, you look at this and they're just sort of flat, but also the Huskies are coming to play. They're not going to wait until the game next week against the Washington State Cougars. And what they're doing is just actually blitzing and just taking the game from the Trojans at this time.
Paul DeLulo in front of Marcus Allen, quarterback Gordon Adams, who has completed 59% of his passes this season. This is Allen. Slips one tackle, another. Allen got good running room. He may break it. He's at the 50, down to the 40, pulled down from behind at the 36-yard line of the Washington Huskies. And it was Bill Stapleton, a cornerback, who collared him and got him down. A run of 45 yards. That's the longest run this year by Marcus Allen. Prior to today, his longest run was 37 against Minnesota.
Mike, and it's true, too, where the play where he ran in there, he just kept his head up and he ran real well and avoided people, and Marcus has been running very well the last 3 games.
1st and 10 now from the 36 of the Huskies after that 45-yard run. New tailback Gibson. DeLulo gets the call, and the SC fullback goes to the 31, brought down by Brett Gagliardi, Jerry McClain, a couple of linebackers for the Huskies.
Mike, in this I formation, the tailback is supposed to just give juvenation to a team, and Marcus Allen did that on that last run. And you can kind of see the Trojans picking it up now. DeLulo just gained a good gain, and we may be in the group for a great game for the Trojans.
Well, the Trojans are staging a comeback. Perhaps our slow-mo machine will stage one. It has been down since the start of this game, and that's the reason we don't have any replays for you, and we apologize for that, but we hope to have it rectified soon. Adams looking for Kevin Williams. He has him. Williams makes the grab, and he's got it out of bounds at the 7. Kevin Williams. One official said that he caught the ball, and now the other official comes and waves it off.
Mike, that's a tough call. It looks like Kevin had the ball, but when he fell out of bounds, he let loose of the ball. It looked like he just, and you could call it a fumble or incompletion, but I would call it a completion here.
Well, unless I misread the official signal, the first official closest to Kevin Williams indicated it was a legal catch.
Yes, he did. And that's why it's kind of confusing, because when he did go out of bounds, he let the ball loose, and another official from another angle could have said that he never had control.
All right, Kevin Williams goes out for a breather, replaced by Timmy White. White and Jeff Simmons wide to the left side. Now it's White coming in motion this way on 3rd and 5 from the 31 of the Huskies. Adams across the middle. He's got his tight end. That's Hobie Brenner, and Brenner goes to the 21. Hobie Brenner, the reliable tight end from Fullerton, who was a tailback and a fullback and a split end and a linebacker in high school. He was MVP in both football and basketball, and he also threw the discus in track and was a high jumper. So he did just about everything except take tickets for the senior prom.
Is there any question why SC went after him and tried to recruit him so hard?
Well, and also his size at 6'5" and 235. Hobie Brenner, first down for the Trojans at the 21 of the Washington Huskies. Marcus Allen into the middle, picks up a couple. Mark Giroux, Scott Garnett, put him down.
Mike, I'm telling you, the Trojans are they're turned on now, and I think Marcus Allen's run is very important, but the last 4 plays after that run have a lot of momentum, and the Trojans look like they have control. And I know the Huskies are going to be blitzing a lot, but I don't think it's going to make much difference if the Trojans continue their execution of their plays.
Now, Hobie Brenner has caught at least one pass in his last 19 consecutive games. Mr. Consistency. 2nd and 7 at the Husky 18. It is Marcus Allen around the right side, and it takes about 3 Huskies to break him down, and a penalty marker dropped. The penalty marker was dropped by the back judge, Bill Thayer, and it's going to be against the Huskies.
You know, I'm going to guess and say it's a face guard the way the referee threw the flag, because it didn't look like a late hit, but more like an inadvertent grab of the face mask.
Sometimes when you go for the tackle, your hand does slip down and get caught in the face mask. Allen now has 49 yards and 6 carries, and the game is only halfway through the first quarter.
Mike, I'm just amazed the way Marcus Allen gains yards, because 48 yards is usually a halftime production, and this is just midway, not even midway the first quarter.
The Trojans now with a first down. The ball is at the 7-yard line. 1st and goal to go at the Washington 7. 1st and goal at the Husky 7. All right, Brenner moving back and forth. And the pass out of the grasp of Kevin Williams. That was a funny pass play, Mike Garrett.
Yes, it was more like just a quick screen or kind of a play where you give to Kevin and let him just outrun the defense. But number 38 Stewart was right in the way and kind of got in the way, and Kevin just could not see the ball.
Again, Dave Komaski is the referee. The umpire, Dave Brazel. Head linesman, Bob Zelinka. Jack Roberts is the line judge. Don Habel, the field judge. Bill Thayer is the back judge. The give is to Paul DeLulo. Stopped at the 5 by Fletcher Jenkins. Jenkins is a junior, 6'2", 247. That's one thing about Don James this year. Losing 9 out of 11 starters on defense from a year ago, and yet the Husky defense, by and large, has been tough.
Mike, that's a sign of a great coach, where he knows he's losing 11 people or 9 people, and he has to kind of come back with 9 off his previous teams, and it's a great sign of great coaching and good recruiting.
Isn't that a great shot?
Yes.
Pugh goes over there and grasps that ball with that bandaged right hand. Back to throw. Across the middle it's intercepted in the end zone. With the ball is Caldwell, Anthony Caldwell, and he's going to be in trouble. He manages to get out, fight his way out to the 1-yard line. Anthony Caldwell, the pass was deflected, and we have penalty markers all over the field. It's going to take a while to untangle this mess. The Huskies were unable to move the ball, so now we pick up the action with the Trojans' next series of downs. An excellent punt by Rich Camarillo, 53 yards, and now the Trojans with a first down from their own 9. Huskies 3, Trojans nothing. We're in the final 4.5 minutes of the first period. It's Marcus Allen busting up to the 18. Marcus Allen finding a good hole between right guard and right tackle, brought down by Brett Gagliardi.
The Trojans are in their own territory, so Washington went to a 6-man front. The Trojans' great interior line just blows a great hole, and Marcus runs very tough. But, Mike, it's very interesting to watch the Washington Huskies change their defense. They go to a 5-2 to a 6-1, all trying to stop that defense. The running game.
2nd and 2 for the Trojans at the SC 17. Look at the stunning on defense by the Huskies. Adams fakes, and now he wants to throw. He has time. He's going to have to hurry. Fumbles the ball. Recovered by the Huskies at the 16. The recovery was made. I don't know whether Giroux made the hit or did he make the recovery. I believe he made the recovery. Also in there was Scott Garnett, a tackle.
Here's Gordon Adams calling the play here. It's a pass play to his right. He looks at Marcus does not see him open.
Here comes Garnett.
And here's Garnett, gets him behind.
The tackle,
Great
and Giroux
hit.
comes to make the recovery.
Michael, and the Huskies came here to play, and they're very serious, and the Trojans must get it together if they're going to combat this game.
The Huskies are forcing the breaks their way.
Yes, they are.
10 Huskies at the SC 16. Kyle Stevens trying to find some running room, and the Trojans aroused, put him down about the 8.
Chip Banks made a great effort there. He got penetration, which normally stops the play. But Stevens just is very hard running back. He just got away and kept going, and then later got attacked by Eric Scoggins and company. But, Mike, you just can't get over the fact that the Huskies are playing great football, and the Trojans are not as sharp as they were the last 2 games.
The ball is at the 14, 2nd and 8 for the Huskies. At the USC 14. In motion, Willie Roseborough. The pitch to Kyle Stevens. Stevens down to the 10. Stevens gaining 4 yards. And a reminder that this game is brought to you under the authority of the University of Southern California, solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the University of Southern California is strictly prohibited. 3rd down 4 at the USC 10. Huskies already on top, 3-0. Flick on a bootleg. 5. Flick is stopped at the 3. Dennis Smith, the SC safety, made the tackle. But what a great play to call at a great time for the Huskies. Flick faking on the handoff and then rolling out sort of a naked reverse.
Said before that Flick is a great athlete, and this is a sign that he has a lot of confidence. Fakes a sweep to one side, keeps a bootleg. It's a great hit from Dennis Smith, but they're in great field position, Mike.
I'll say they are. 1st and goal to go at the USC 3. Out over the ball for the Huskies, the center, Mike Riley. The guards, Mike Curtis and James Carter. The give is to Willie Roseborough, and he pounds his way down to the 1 where he is swarmed over by all of the Trojans. Everybody has a piece of the action on Roseborough. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 1. And when you get down this close, I always think a good play is the old-fashioned quarterback sneak.
You're right.
You minimize the factor of a miscue on the handoff. You only have to go from the center to the quarterback.
The great thing right now for the Huskies is that they believe they can win this game. They believe they can do anything they want, and so far they have.
USC has not allowed a touchdown in the first quarter this season, but boy, Huskies are down there knocking at the door right now. We have 1:40 to play first quarter. 3-0, the Huskies over USC. SC going with 4 down linemen: Dennis Edwards, Georgia Chica, Charles Ussery, Dave Corsinati. 2nd and goal at the 1. A fumble! The Trojans have recovered! August Curley. Somewhere in that pile should be August Curley. There he is. August Curley, a sophomore linebacker from Atlanta, Georgia, plucks off that ball in midair. And so the Trojans, after giving the Huskies a couple of opportunities, the Huskies return the favor.
Mike, you can't say enough about this defense. They rise to the occasion, make the great hit. August Curley makes the recovery of the fumble. All year it's been the defense, and this is no difference today.
What a wild first quarter. We've had more unusual plays in this first quarter than maybe in any first period this season. But look where the Trojans are. 1st and 10 at the SC 1. 3 tight ends employed by SC. Quarterback sneak by Adams, trying to get a little running room, gets maybe a yard. Hobie Brenner, Vic Rockshawny, James Hunter, the three tight ends, and generally USC runs when the three tight ends are in there to lend more blocking support.
Watch the top of your screen here. You'll see the ball get jarred loose by the runner. There it is. And here comes August Curley and makes the reception. Great camera work. But it just shows you the Trojans are right on the money on that particular play, Mike.
But there was no way I could tell who made the hit on Roseboro. Maybe about 4 or 5 guys.
Maybe we should ask our director. He has great vision.
Rockshawny going in motion. It is Marcus Allen struggling to get to the 4. But the Trojans now are going to have to go about 99.5 yards on this drive. Tackle made by Jerry McLean, the linebacker, with that much time remaining in the first quarter.
Mike, I'm supposed to be the expert here, but as I look at this game, it's a very confusing game to call because you just don't know what's happening because things are so many things are weird happening, and you just can't put your finger on it, and there's no continuity to the game so far.
3rd down and 6. The ball at the SC 5. Marcus Allen up close to the 9. Stop there for the right side of the Huskies defense. Fletcher Jenkins was in there along with Ken Gardner, the free safety. So it'll be 4th and 1, and Pryor will have to punt now with 7 seconds. The clock still moving as the first quarter draws to a close. And I doubt very much if we'll even get the punt underway before the first quarter draws to a close. That's it. After one period, the Huskies 3, USC nothing. We'll be back with more USC football in just a moment. The Trojans were at an emotional high against Stanford last week. Next week is UCLA, then a bye, and then Notre Dame. So this might be kind of a flat period for USC, and the Huskies are catching the Trojans at the right time. 3-0, and here is the first play of the second quarter as Horton drops back deep to receive the punt of Dave Pryor. Huskies are coming at him. Pryor gets it away. Good boot. Carries Horton all the way back to the 38, all the way back to the 33. Horton is running, and he's in trouble and out of bounds at the 33-yard line. And right with him for USC is Keith Browner. Maybe Keith is a little upset that his brother Joey was hurt earlier. Anyway, Keith Browner was right with Ray Horton, and Horton, I don't think, liked very much the way he was treated.
No, here's Horton on the reception on the punt return, and there's Keith going to get him and just run him right out of bounds. And the referee gets tossed in the play.
The Huskies were unable to move the ball, so now we pick up the action with the Trojans' next series of downs. Paul DeLulo couldn't do anything against the Husky defense. Mark Giroux and Kevin Driscoll and Jerry McLean were all in there on him. So now SC can't even run against the Huskies.
Mike, Coach Robinson must be thinking, just what must I do to get this offense generated, because we're in bad field position, number one, and number two, we're not blowing out like we normally do. So I know he's perplexed, and I know a lot of people in the stadium is too.
3rd down, 9 for the Trojans. Ball is at the 4. Pitch to Marcus Allen around the right side. He's up to the 20, 30. Allen is going to be gone, perhaps. Allen is bumped once. He gets by. He's still on his feet. He's going to go all the way. A 96-yard run by Marcus Allen.
Mike, there's a referee on the 35-yard line saying as Marcus Allen stepped out on that long run. No, what it is a student body right for the Trojans, and Marcus Allen runs very well here. Now he takes the first shot, great footwork, he stays on his feet. He's looking inside because he knows that's the only place they could tackle him, and I think he stepped out just then, but he's going to keep running and make a great effort and go all the way.
Well, the official called it right away, and anytime your foot comes in contact with that white boundary line, you are out of bounds.
It stops the play, and it's dead right there.
So they will put the ball at the 36-yard line. Anthony Gibson replaces Allen at tailback, and it'll be a first down for the Trojans from their own 36. Paul DeLulo fights his way. Paul DeLulo moving all the way up to the 46. It appeared that DeLulo was stopped. He kept his feet driving, and he went up to the 46 before the cornerback. Ray Horton clamped a bear hug on him and put him down.
Mike, it seems that when things go wrong, they go wrong in bunches. And here DeLulo hits the play. The Trojans make a great hole for him. He runs into his interior lineman here.
Oh, he stripped of the ball.
And then he fumbles. And the Huskies just get a timely a recovery by Horton.
Talk about your screwy plays. This is enough to make a highlight film for a decade. 1st and 10 now for the Huskies at the 49. Kyle Stevens goes to the 47. Tackled by Dennis Edwards and Chip Banks.
Mike, and I can tell you what the defense is saying now. Look, they said, look, things are going wrong here. Let's clamp down, do what we were doing all year, and if we stop them, we'll give the offense a chance to gather themselves and make that concerted effort which we need.
We still have a lot of time to go in the second quarter, 10.5 minutes. But the Huskies only lead by 3 to nothing. It could have been 10 to nothing or maybe even 13 to nothing. They've been able to capitalize on some of the breaks. And it's Stevens again. Stevens down to the 43. So the Huskies who were passing more in the first quarter now have gone to the run more early in the second period.
You're right. And I think if the Trojans will look at this game, they will say, look, everything that could happen wrong has happened against us. Now let's just not panic. Let's stay in the game and let's play it tough because the Huskies are not going to give it up easy. But let's just maintain our composure.
Gain of 3, call it 3rd and 4 for the Huskies at the SC 43. Byron Darby is in there now. He wasn't supposed to play today because of a bad ankle. Flick completes the pass. August Curley made the tackle on the tight end, David Bale.
Flick's getting under a lot of pressure today. He looks to his left, but he's really looking for his tight end, Gale. Here's Chip Banks. Right before Chip Banks gets him, he hits Gale's here, and August Curley makes the tackle.
David Bale from San Marino, California, 6'4", 226-pound senior. Dennis Edwards hurt for USC, and he's over on the sidelines. So Byron Darby, who wasn't expected to play today because of a bad ankle, is in there. Officials timeout for a measurement. It'll be a first down for the Huskies. 9:38 to play second quarter. Mike Walden along with Mike Garrett from the Los Angeles Coliseum, where the temperature is 70 degrees. And this field is bathed in sunshine, but not much for the Trojans to be sunny about right now.
Not much so far, Mike.
3 to nothing. The Huskies lead on a 47-yard field goal by Chuck Nelson. That came in the first quarter. Tom Flick pumps once, puts it up for Scanzi, and it was almost intercepted by Ronnie Lott. Lott and Scanzi collided, and I think there was another SC player over there, too, or maybe Lott would have had his 8th interception this week.
Fisher had Scanzi one-on-one on this coverage, and he runs a stop and go, and what happens, Ronnie Lott read it just from the first step he read it. Now he's in for an interception, and Scanzi makes a great play going at the ball. He knocks it from Ronnie Lott.
Jeff Fisher was also over there, so 2nd and 10 now for the Huskies. Ball is at the 38. In pursuit of Flick is Banks, who unloads on Flick as he throws. Was the catch made? Williams says he got it, and the officials agree with him, but the SC student body across the way do not.
Mike, we're going through so many weird things and so many different calls here. Here's Flick rolling to his left, and he throws it in. It looks like he throws it nowhere. I think
it looks like it's trapped to me.
Right.
John Robinson thought it was trapped too.
I was watching the referee from the other side, number 55, and he called it incomplete, but he was all the way across the field.
Now watch this. Sure appeared that it was trapped.
Yes.
Apparently, the referee is overruled now, and there's Vanderveer saying, wait a minute, you call it good, and now you're taking it away from us? Randy Vanderveer, the right tackle on offense for the Huskies. They're going to bring the ball back to the line of scrimmage, the 38-yard line.
Mike, who said football is supposed to be a very rational, organized game? It's unbelievable. Now, we're going to get one more shot at that last play, and you can, fans out there, look at this game and look at this play and just determine, what do you think? Now the ball's going, and receiver just dives for it. Did it bounce before he got to it? It looked like it did, Mike. I don't think Williams made the reception.
I think he had his hands out there, but the hands and the ball hit the turf at about the same time. It looked like it kind of bounced up to his chest, and then he fell on top of it.
I believe you're right, Mike.
Well, it really doesn't matter what I believe, because the official said they saw it that way, and so they bring it back to the 38.
You're right.
We have 9:13 to play in the second quarter. And the only score that we have in the game, a 47-yard field goal by Chuck Nelson. That came midway through the first period. Don Jones leaves, and August Curley comes in, so the Trojans want to get another linebacker in there. Mike Curtis, James Carter are the guards, Kurt Marsh and Randy Vanderveer the tackles. David Bale is the tight end, Aaron Williams the split end as the Huskies come out over the ball. Fullback is Roseboro, the tailback, Kyle Stevens. It is Stevens, 35, put down by Busick at the 34. Busick, a senior from Temple City.
Mike, that was a tactical play to get better field position for the possible field goal attempt by Nelson.
All right, this is going to be a field goal attempt by Nelson. This would be from the 41-yard line. Thus, it would be a 51-yard field goal. Cowan will hold. Mike Riley will make the snap. Nelson has never kicked one this far before. It's up, and he won't kick it this time either. Way short and off to the left. Nelson misses a 51-yard field goal attempt. And with 8:28 to play in the first half, it's still Washington 3, USC nothing. Now we pick up with SC in possession later in the same period. The ball is at the USC 34-yard line. First down for the Trojans. They've been shut out here in the first half. The pitch to Marcus Allen. Allen to the outside. Allen is slowed down, and he may have gone out of bounds around the 45. Jerry McLean, the linebacker over there with him. But Marcus Allen seems to be breaking off more today than in any game so far.
Michael's just playing confidence and great blocking, but Marcus is just running with just great enthusiasm, and he just looks like just a bona fide great runner now. And like I said last week, I would compare him to anybody in the country.
A pickup of 11 more yards by Marcus Allen. First down for the Trojans from their own 45. A little over 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Marcus Allen again, 50 to the 45-yard line of the Huskies, and bumped down by Chris O'Connor, the strong safety.
You know, Mike, the key to any running game is the front offensive line blowing out. And Allen Pugh and Foster and Matthews just blow the center of the line out, and Marcus Allen has the great yards, and being the great runner he is, he gets the great game.
Allen now with 125 yards and 15 carries. Gibson is the new tailback. Or no, it's Anthony Allen. Excuse me, Marcus Allen. We've got Anthony Allen for the Huskies and Marcus Allen for the Trojans.
Mike, I was wondering when I was going to say that. Thank heaven you said it before I did. I was going to say it. I almost said it twice before. But great effort by Marcus, and you almost have the feeling now that give it to him and let him just march right down the field because he's running so well.
Ball is at the 35. First down for the Trojans at the Husky 35. Now Gibson is in there. He's in motion. Adams has time. Adams unloads to Hobie Brenner. Hobie Brenner to the 18 of the Huskies. And the free safety, Ken Gardner, made the tackle on Hobie Brenner.
When you give the quarterback all day to look downfield and make the decision where to throw, he can only do one thing, and that's make a completion. He throws it right here to Hobie Brenner, and Hobie does what he really does real well, and he runs real tough. But maybe he could have ran out of bounds and stopped the clock, Mike.
The man who made the tackle, Ken Gardner, is hurt, and he's out of there. They're going to have to get Stapleton in there. It's Allen around the right side. Allen pulled down inside the 15 by Brett Gagliardi. 3-0. The Huskies, the Trojans, trying to get in for a score before time runs out here in the first half. Ball will be placed down at the 15 of the Huskies. Second down and 7 at the Washington 15. Marcus Allen comes out. Anthony Gibson is the new tailback. Jeff Simmons, Kevin Williams wide to the left side. Now in motion goes the tailback Gibson. Adams to throw. If he can, Adams in trouble. Dumps off a left-handed pass to Hobie Brenner. And Hobie Brenner stumbles and falls at the 2-yard line. We saw Gordon Adams unveil the left-handed pass, and it was a disaster at Stanford a week ago. This time, it is a success.
Mike, sometimes they say you shouldn't do things, but when you get successful with it, you know, no one's going to really cry about it. Here he throws with his left hand, and once again, you shouldn't recommend to do that, but great completion here. And Hobie Brenner now used to running trips and falls.
When we come back, it'll be first and goal to go for the Trojans at the Husky 5. We'll be back with more USC football in just a moment. First and goal to go for the Trojans at the 5, the Husky 5. 3-0 the Huskies lead. We have 47 seconds remaining in the first half. Moving out, Marcus Allen. Pass to Hobie Brenner. Is he in? Touchdown! Hobie Brenner, USC!
Mike, there's a flag on the 9-yard line. I wonder who's the kid.
We're going to find out very shortly. Illegal motion against Southern California. And I was about to say, it's the first touchdown Hobie Brenner has scored this year. But they wipe it off.
Yes, they did.
Let's see if we can pick up the motion penalty on the replay.
What they did, Mike, was put Marcus Allen in formation in motion to the right and flooded the area. And there's no one to cover Hobie. And, of course, he scores, but they get him for illegal formation. I think probably Marcus did something wrong, and I can't tell you what it was.
Anyway, the ball now goes back to the 10 following the 5-yard penalty. It'll be second down and still goal, this time at the 10. And now 3 more seconds have ticked off the clock. That play took exactly 3 seconds, and we have 44 seconds remaining here in the first half. Huskies 3-0 over the Trojans. First and goal for the Trojans. All 3 passes that Gordon Adams has completed so far today have gone to tight end Hobie Brenner. I would guess the Trojans might try to throw here on first down in this situation. Nope, I'm wrong. Fumble by Marcus Allen, picks it up on the first hop, and Marcus gets to the 6. Well, that's been the type of a first half that it's been here today.
Michael, it's been a very, very rough half for the Trojans. Here you run a student by the right, which is just like bread and butter for the Trojans, and Marcus just simply fumbles it. And lucky for the Trojans, he did make the recovery.
This looks like fractured flickers, doesn't it? Adams will throw on second down, second and goal, dumps it up. Oh, it's almost intercepted by Scott Garnett, the right tackle. Garnett, a freshman from Muir High School in Pasadena.
Mike, what can you say? Gordon Adams is looking for Kevin Williams on a flag pattern, and he's covered, so he goes to Marcus. And here's Garnett, who can almost, it's an interception. Mike, it's just a very confusing first half.
You can tell that from the look on John Robinson's face. There's John Hubbard right back of John Robinson, the former president of USC. Now it'll be third. It's still third down, and it's still goal to go, but the ball is now back to the 8-yard line. Started out at the 5. Adams looking. Down he goes at the 18-yard line. Gordon Adams pulled down. The clock shows 3 seconds to go. Tackle was made by Fletcher Jenkins. And the natives here in the Coliseum are getting restless. A few boos, I hear.
Michael, it's just unbelievable. You sit up here and you get frustrated more and more. You see things happen. Here, Gordon Adams is standing in the pocket. He has all day to throw, but the secondary for the Huskies are doing a great job, and they eventually make the tackle.
That was a good tackle by Fletcher Jenkins. You know, they teach him to hit him low. He hit him low.
Yes, he hit him low.
We're going to get a field goal attempt. I saw Scott Tinsley in there. And Eric Hipp will try a field goal now from the 25-yard line. It'll be from the far hash mark. This would be a 35-yard field goal by Eric Hip. Back, and the kick by Hip is good. So the Trojans finally score on the last play of the first half. And at halftime, here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, USC 3, the Washington Huskies 3.
John Robinson again. You know, that last drive just before halftime where we managed to get a field goal up and tie the score was pretty much summed up the whole day. We had an easy touchdown. Hobie Brenner fell down. We had another touchdown called back. Marcus Allen had what looked like an easy run in for a touchdown and fumbled the ball. And really on top of that, Gordon Adams was injured on the next to last play. You know, when you get caught up in this winning and losing and you feel so bad, but the key thing in this football game, I think the real sadness of it was the injury to Gordon. Gordon had, as we all know, worked for 5 years to get a chance to play quarterback for us. Was a starter this year. Looking forward to the UCLA Notre Dame games, his traditional games, which will be denied him now because of the knee injury. He'll have surgery today or tomorrow. So winning and losing is one perspective, but the key to all of this are the men that play this game, and the sadness really is, for this day for me, is the fact that he'll miss these last two games. Halftime for us, we tried the best we could. And you know, when a game goes poorly and you're unable to change it, you really, I think that's one of the jobs of a coach at halftime, to say, hey, things are going badly, we've got to find a way to change. We couldn't get it done. We talked at halftime about relaxing, and we said, hey, boy, we couldn't be any worse than we were in the first half. Well, we were in the second half, but we tried our best to try to relax and say, hey, let's just have confidence in ourselves and believe in what we're doing. And yet, in the second half, things really didn't change much. In fact, they got worse, if anything. Our halftime feature today is on a young man that I think will go down among the greats in USC football. Ronnie Lott is his name. I think we all recognize the great contribution he's made to our program. He has a lot of great gifts physically, but I think the thing I admire most about him is his mental attitude and approach to the game. He is the most self-driving human being that I think I've known since I've been in coaching. He's just a phenomenal young person. I'm sure he's going to have a great career in and out of athletics in the future. He's one of the real leaders that I have known. This feature is produced by the USC School of Broadcast Journalism, and it's written and produced by Christine Cottles.
Ever since Ron Lott was a little boy, he was a dreamer. He dreamed of a successful future in college football, and while he always believed he would go to college, he was not sure how far he could go in football.
I guess one of the most outrageous things I see myself doing that had happened was playing in the Rose Bowl and getting an interception or participating in the Rose Bowl. I've always dreamed about playing in the Rose Bowl. I've seen some of the great players that played in the Rose Bowl when I was a little kid, and just having a chance to participate in the Rose Bowl the last 2 years was really a dream come true for me. And I just hope that someday maybe I can, fulfill some of the other dreams that I've, accomplished, or some other outrageous things as far as me going to the Super Bowl maybe, or playing for some professional team and doing really well. That might be another outrageous thing that I sometimes think about.
He realized the foundation for his dreams had already been set.
I guess one of my dreams is just being happy and just being close to my family. That's something that too many people don't have a chance to really take time to understand and to understand and caress it. I think having a family that supports you and that loves you is really something that's more important than anything else in the world. I feel like my mother and father and my brother and sister have just done everything they possibly can to make me happy, and I've done everything I possibly can to make them happy.
And so Ron Lott, the young man, dreams on, more confident of converting his dreams into action.
And if you can be happy, you can always be successful, and you can always live out your dreams.
The question is is USC's 28-game unbeaten streak, the longest in the nation and the longest in the school's history, in jeopardy? Well, based on what transpired in the first half, a 3-3 tie, you would have to say it is. John Robinson can find a few things to smile about. Apparently somebody in the band said something to him. The Trojans will have to kick off to start this second half. And even though SC had the better of it in the first half statistics, they are tied 3-3 here as we go into the second half. In total yards, the Trojans 196 yards to 117 for the Washington Huskies. The Trojans 160 yards rushing, and of that amount, 142 belongs to Marcus Allen. He had 142 and 18 carries. On the other hand, the Huskies had just 66 yards rushing. In passing, Tom Flick, 8 out of 17 for 51 yards. Gordon Adams, 3 out of 9 for 36, 1 intercepted. So those are the halftime stats as we get ready to start play here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, the last 2 quarters of action. Georgia already has won today, so number 1 Georgia will be number 1 in the wire service polls again this coming week. But now, what about SC, number 2 in the polls? And that mark right now is hanging in balance.
Mike, you know, it's kind of confusing because the Trojans came in this game with all the great signs of just turning the season around, but it's kind of a natural lull. They have 2 hard games coming up, UCLA and Notre Dame, and after having 2 great games against Cal and Stanford, so this may be the natural lull period. But typical Trojans, you know, they've been pulling out all year long, and it may not be the great artistic game, but hopefully it'll be a victory for the Trojans.
As you look at Eric Kipp as he tees the ball and gets ready to start the second half, his field goal, his 35-yarder on the last play of the first half, now means that USC has scored in 152 consecutive games in a 13-year period. The record is 155 by Oklahoma. Anthony Allen on one side, and on the other will be Kyle Stevens for the Washington Huskies. Waiting the kickoff of Eric Kipp. Huskies 3 and the Trojans 3. And this crowd here in the Coliseum settling back for 2 more quarters of action. Fielded by Aaron Williams. Aaron Williams, 35, 40. 50. Aaron Williams is corralled by Joey Browner at the 26-yard line of the Trojans. An outstanding run back by Aaron Williams, a split end, a 69-yard romp by number 91, Aaron Williams.
What you want to do is you want to put your best speed merchant in the field goal, your kickoff return team. And here's Mr. Allen. He's just super. He just runs here and just gets away from the Trojans. And Williams does just a super job of running down until Joey Browner throws him out.
Tony Brewer had a shot at him at about the 40, but Aaron Williams was able to slip that tackle. And look where the Huskies are now with a first down at the Southern California 26. In motion, Kyle Stevens. The give is to Willie Roseborough, and he runs right smack dab into George Achika into play. George Achika, by the way, has made 11 tackles for losses this year. George Achika from San Jose, a sophomore. Ball we spotted down right at the line of scrimmage, the 26. On defense, the down lineman for the Cardinal and gold, Dennis Edwards, George Achika, Charles Ussery. Linebackers are Chip Banks, Steve Busick, Ricky Gray, Eric Scoggins. And there'll be a gain of about 2 yards on the play. Kyle Stevens shooting down the middle. Got to the 24, stopped by Charles Ussery. In the secondary for the Trojans, Joey Browner, Ronnie Lott, Jeff Fisher, and Dennis Smith.
Michael, the Huskies are still playing a little type of game, a finesse game, where they're just changing. They're hitting one way, hitting the next way. Now the Trojans are expecting them to throw this down, and most likely you're going to see a play-action pass.
3rd and 8 at the 24 of Southern California. Opening minutes of the third quarter. 3-3 tie. Flick has all the time in the world. And this one is no good at about the 5. Nothing but Trojans around there, and Flick is really upset. I don't know if he's upset with himself or upset that something wasn't called. He appeared to be throwing to Anthony Allen, his flanker back.
He sure was, Mike. And Allen was running like a flag pattern, the same kind of pattern that Kevin Williams runs so effectively. And Ronnie Lott just ran him over, and I was surprised they didn't call an interference call.
So was Tom Flick, apparently. Nelson, who already has kicked a 47-yard field goal today, will boot this one from the 31 out of the hold of Tim Cowan. Kick by Nelson is no good. It is no good. It was off to the left. So Nelson, who kicked one at that goal in the first 3.5 minutes of the first quarter, misses this one wide to the left.
You're right, Mike. And after Aaron Williams makes a great return for the Huskies cannot capitalize on it. Now the Trojans possibly will have some momentum now. Now they made a great stand.
A 3-3 deadlock with 13:33 to go in the third quarter. And Scott Tinsley is the new quarterback for Southern California. Scott Tinsley at quarterback. Hands off to Marcus Allen. He's to the 25. Marcus Allen getting just a yard or so, brought down by Mark Giroux. Now the word is that Gordon Adams has possible torn knee ligaments, and he will not play the remainder of this day. So that's the reason that you see Scott Tinsley in there. Adams had a bad first half. There's no way around that. He certainly did. But he also came out of there with a possible torn knee ligament. So it's Scott Tinsley's ball game right now. Hand off to Marcus Allen. And Marcus Allen goes up to the 30, brought down by Jerry McLean.
The Trojans may have to resort to a very kind of a moderate or conservative game without Gordon Adams in there now, Mike. And so Tinsley is a great passer, but they may just want to just run the ball and just let everyone get their feelings and possibly get their confidence back.
And another report from the SC locker room. Eric Scoggins has an injured knee, also will not play anymore today. So the Trojans not only are tied with the Huskies in a tough battle, they've lost a couple of players, Gordon Adams and Eric Scoggins. Scott Tinsley back to throw his first pass today, and he's in trouble. Escapes. Tinsley comes up and lofts one. It is dropped by Hobie Brenner. Hobie Brenner, the tight end, juggling the ball like a hot potato as he tried to bend over backwards to make the grab.
Mike, you know, you would think Scott Tinsley would be kind of tentative here, but he's in the pocket. He elutes a great rush here. He sees Stewart, and he just tosses it just perfectly, and Stewart barely tips it, and Hobie Brenner just can't hold on to it, and goes incomplete.
Pryor will now punt on fourth down for the Trojans. Back to protect him is Kenny Moore. Pryor gets it away. Horton will receive this ball at the 27, 30, 35, 40. Horton up to the 50, to the 40. He's got one man to beat. That's Pryor. And Pryor can't get him. And Horton will return it. Touchdown for the Washington Huskies. 57 yards on a punt return by Ray Horton. And the Washington Huskies are besides themselves on the sidelines.
Ray Horton, who's a speedster, but who's been running the ball awfully well on punt returns all day, runs right at the gut on the Trojans. And the only ball player has left is David Pryor, and David's no match with this speedy merchant. And just watch him go. Ray Horton runs it all the way back for a touchdown.
Chuck Nelson is in to try to kick the extra point. Nelson is 26 out of 28 on PATs this year, out of the hold of backup quarterback Tim Cowan. It's good. So the Huskies now lead 10-3 over the Trojans, with 11:51 still to be played in the third quarter. Robinson had hoped this would be the day he would get his 50th coaching victory as head coach of the Trojans. On the other side of the field, Don James already has 70 coaching victories, 44 at the University of Washington in his 6 years, and then prior to that he was the head coach 4 years at Kent State. So Robinson and James, and right now James on top, the Huskies 10-3 over USC. It's brought out by Michael Harper. Harper trying to cut back against the grain to get to the outside. At the 30, the 35, and the Huskies finally run him down. Darren Witcher got him down. But Harper tried to do to the Huskies what Horton did to the Trojans just moments ago.
You're right, Mike. Mike Harper says as Horton can run back against the Trojans, I can run her back against the Huskies. And here he just breaks to the outside to his right and just makes it into a foot race, and he's a 9.5 sprinter. But he just can't quite make it because the Huskies' number 19, Witcher, is at speedster 2 and runs him out of bounds.
First and 10 at the 37. Trojan 37. The pitch to Marcus Allen, and he's pulled down. It's going to be a loss on the play. Great tackle by Fletcher Jenkins, the left tackle on defense, who's been in the Trojan backfield a lot today.
Mike, what the Huskies are going to try and do now is just simply get penetration and stop the Trojan running game before it actually gets started.
Excuse me.
In that last play, that's just what they did.
Ball is spotted down at the 35, a loss of 2. Second and 12 at the SC 35. Huskies 10, Trojans 3. 11 minutes to go here in the third quarter from the Los Angeles Coliseum. Mike Walden and Mike Garrett. And Scott Tinsley is a quarterback. It is Scott Tinsley's game now for USC. Marcus Allen around the right side. Marcus Allen up to the 43. Put down by linebacker Ken Driscoll. That'll be a gain of 8, setting up a 3rd and 4.
That was a great play there. Scott Tinsley had to make an audible on the line of scrimmage. The one thing that Gordon Adams does so well, and what he did, he made the adjustment, and the Trojans made a good game.
Allen now with 152 yards in 22 carries. He's almost at his season's average. He was averaging 159 coming in. The number 2 rusher in the nation. Marcus Allen already has 152 here today. With the rest of this quarter, 10-23, and all of the fourth quarter. But the Huskies are ahead of the Trojans 10-3. Scott Tinsley ready to throw, and he fires this one. It's intercepted by Caldwell, and the Huskies come up with the ball again, and in great field position at the 43-yard line of the Trojans. Tinsley was throwing to Hobie Brenner, and the grab was made by Anthony Caldwell.
Scott goes back, he looks for his tight end, and Hobie is not quite open because Caldwell's right there and makes the interception, and Hobie makes the tackle.
And looking across the way on crutches is Gordon Adams telling Michael Harper how it all happened. Torn ligaments, and I don't know, this late in the season if you can come back from torn ligaments.
Chances are he's not, Mike.
First and 10 now. The ball is at the 43. Flick throws out here. It is caught by Aaron Williams. He's bumped out of bounds by Joey Brunner. Also Ricky Gray in there. But the Huskies with a 10-3 lead over the Trojans now have the ball with 10 minutes and 5 seconds to go at the 32-yard line of USC.
Mike, there's a lot of time in the game, and there's no reason for anyone to panic. But you do want to see the momentum change. And right now, the Huskies have the control of the game, and they're actually taking it to the Trojans.
August Curley is filling in for Eric Scoggins, who also was hurt in the first half. Curley is the young man who made the recovery in midair of that fumble as the Huskies were about to score. You know, the Huskies could be ahead 17-3 right now, or even more than that.
Yes, so easily.
Roseboro was the fullback, and Roseboro gets the call down the middle. Roseboro goes to the 26. Willie Roseboro from Simi Valley, a sophomore, filling in for Toussaint Tyler. Tackle made by Dennis Smith.
We've been commenting all year about the Trojan offensive line, and you must say that the Huskies are doing the same thing the Trojans would do to other teams, and they're just blowing out the Trojans' front four and controlling the ball game.
Second and 4 at the 26. Stevens is the tailback. It is Stevens, and there is Ricky Gray to wrap him up. Stevens stopped right at the line of scrimmage, the 26 by Ricky Gray, a junior from Tucson, who is playing his first extensive football for the Trojans in almost a month. He was hurt in the victory over Arizona down in Tucson, middle of October. We have 9:15 to go here in the third quarter. Huskies 10-3 over the Trojans. And that looks like James Carter, the left guard, who has a knee problem, and a timeout for the Huskies. 9:15 to go in the third period. The Huskies up by a touchdown and an extra point. Randy Breslin has replaced Carter at left guard for the Huskies. 3rd and 3 at the 25. Flick rolling out to his right, and he's got his man at the 11-yard line. The grab made there by Ron Wheeler. Or no, Bale. Bale is the man that made the catch there. Tackled by Joey Browner and Ronnie Lott.
Flick has been so effective. He's just moving the ball all over the field. Now he sees his tight end wide open. The Trojans come and make the tackle, but Bale makes the reception. Then he takes a big hit, but they're gaining yards.
1st and 10 now for the Huskies at the Trojan 11. The pitch to Kyle Stevens, and just as he started to make his cut, he fell down, and Achika fell on top of Stevens. No gain on that one.
Mike, you know, the tell sign here is that the Trojans are not getting penetration in the middle of the line. Normally, defensively, when they control the other team, they get penetration in the middle of the line. And have you noticed at least in the last 2 quarters, they have not got that inside penetration. Therefore, Flick can do anything he wants to do.
Notre Dame, a winner over Alabama today, 7-0 down in Birmingham. Byron Darby is one of the tackles for USC. 2nd and 10. Ball is at the 11. The fake on the play action to Stevens. Flick in hot pursuit, Banks, and touchdown for the Huskies. Flick throwing to Paul Scanzi. And now the Trojans are really in trouble with 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Huskies have just scored again.
What's amazing, last week Elway was trying to do the same thing in the backfield and was not capable of doing it. And here Tom Flick has just been so effective. He looks right, then he looks to the center of the field, and Scanzi's wide open, and he throws it for the touchdown.
That's the 12th touchdown pass this year for quarterback Tom Flick. Flick throwing to Paul Scanzi. Nelson trying to kick the extra point. It is perfect. Right through the middle. And the Huskies now jump out to a 17-3 lead over the Trojans with 8:01 to go in the 3rd quarter. There is no change in score, so now it's SC's ball later in the same period. Time is running out, 5:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. Washington 17, USC 3. In motion, Kevin Williams. Tinsley throwing, and he's got his man. That is Jeff Simmons. Simmons out of bounds at the 35 of the Huskies. Ray Horton, the cornerback, ran him out of bounds, and maybe that's enough to prime the pump and give Tinsley the confidence that he needs and the Trojans the lift that they need.
And prime the pump it is. Here's Scott Tinsley, gets Jeff Simmons on a crossing pattern, hits him just perfectly, and Jeff gains the yards the Trojans need to keep the drive going, Mike.
A gain of 23 on the pass play. Tinsley to Jeff Simmons. First down for the Trojans at the Husky 35. Tinsley will pass on first down. He has time. Here comes Scott Garnett. Garnett slows him down, and Gagliardi finishes him off. Gagliardi and Garnett, the 2 G's, and so many G-forces that Tinsley couldn't get away. And he sacked back at the 49, a loss of 14.
That front three, it just gave the Trojans a difficult time. The previous play was Jenkins, and now Garnett comes in. And the Trojans' front line is not doing the job they were doing last week. But they also know, the Washington Huskies know that the Trojans have to pass, so they are just blurring in, Mike.
DeLulo goes out of the ball game for the Trojans. Bob McClanahan is the new fullback. Marcus Allen stopped at the 46, a pickup of only 3. Now Tinsley will face a 3rd and 21 situation at the Husky 46. Paul DeLulo back in at fullback now for Southern California. 17-3, Washington over USC. Touchdown pass from Flick to Scanzi, a punt return for a touchdown by Horton, and a field goal by Nelson, and that's it for the Huskies. SC has had just the field goal by Eric Hitt. Tinsley throwing, intercepted by Mark Stewart. 35, Mark Stewart up to the 40, 44-yard line. Don Mosbar, an offensive tackle, brought Stewart down at the 44. but SC comes up empty again, and the Huskies come up with the ball. They have the lead 17-3 with 4 minutes to go in the third period.
Michael, in every pass play, there's someone open, and a man who was right in the middle of the field wide open was Timmy White. But Scott Tinsley decides to go to Kevin Williams, which is a bread and butter receiver, that throws an interception here, and it just breaks a great drive for the Trojans.
And it may break their back. We'll see. The ball is at the Husky 44. First down. Flick pitches back to Jackson. Fumble recovered by August Curley. The Trojans get a break right back.
Mike, you know the game is full of breaks. Whoever gets the breaks wins the game, and maybe this will put the Trojans on fire and get their offensive going.
And SC needs a big lift from a big play right here to get back into this, trailing 17-3.
The one thing you hate to do if you're the visiting team is to give a home team impetus after you've probably beaten the life out of them. And here they do just that. To make a fumble, and August Curley makes a great play.
That's two great plays by Curley today. Remember the fumble he made in midair, the recovery at the goal line? And now the Trojans with a first down at the 36 of the Huskies, but they haven't been able to get in for a touchdown yet. A fake reverse, Marcus Allen to throw. It's to Jeff Simmons. Touchdown, USA! Look at that on the sidelines. Pandemonium. I don't think the words have been uttered from my mouth more than seconds talking about a big play. And what a pass by Marcus Allen.
Mike, there's no question. Marcus Allen here fakes a reverse here. He looks for Jeff Simmons, and Marcus is an ex-quarterback, throws the ball right to Simmons. Simmons maintains his footing. He doesn't fall and goes to the end zone, and the Trojans are back in the game.
Harry Kipp will try to kick the extra point. The snap is high, but Tinsley gets the ball down. It's good. And we have a 17-10 ball game here at the Coliseum with 3:50 to play in the third quarter. Huskies 17, the Trojans 10. Ball later in the same period. Anthony Allen is wide to the left side. Aaron Williams wide to the right side. Flick, ready to throw. Dumps it off over to Jackson, and Jackson is wrapped up by Jeff Fisher at the 34-yard line. Fisher twisted him into the turf, almost screwed him right into the ground.
Mike, it's unbelievable. You should see the hitting out there because people have just been ferocious, for lack of a better word. Here Flick is throwing to his back again, which they're doing very cleverly. Send people deep and throw to the back shallow. And Fisher does one thing the defense people, they tell you to do all the time. Hold the guy up and let other people get hits. And he takes a great hit in the back of his head. And being twirled around like that, there's always the danger of losing the ball. Yes. Being blindsided. Ball's at the 34, loss of 2. Call it 2nd and 12 for the Huskies at the 34 of SC. Tom Flick. A little screen. Oh, it's over the head of Kyle Stevens. And in hot pursuit, Chip Banks and Joey Browner. Michael, I cannot stress to you the type of hitting that's going on in that field. I mean, people are just trying to decapitate each other. And that time, the running back, you know, he should have caught that ball. But he heard footsteps, and he just couldn't do it. And what else can you say? What else can you say? That young man, Tom Flick, wasn't the starting quarterback until the last 4 games of the season for the Huskies last year. He took over for Tom Porras. And Flick has had an outstanding year for the Huskies in 1980. 3rd and 11, big down for the Huskies. Crowd on its feet cheering. Flick throws. He's got Scansey at the 30. Scansey twists away. Still loose at the 25, down to the 24. Fumbles. The Trojans have it. August Curley comes up with another loose ball, but there is a penalty on the play. Dave Kamansky is going to call a penalty on roughing the passer. At least that is the preliminary indication from referee Dave Kamansky. He's talking with Bill Thayer, the back judge. Randy Vandeveer of the Huskies over there listening in, along with Ronnie Lott, Jeff Fisher, and Steve Busey, and Joey Browner. And it will be a walk-off against the Trojans. That'll put the ball down at roughing the passer.
And the Huskies have a first down at the 19.
We're commenting earlier how people are getting hit and with the ferocious play in this game. Now Flick makes the pass, but then we don't quite see the hit, but Chip Banks lays it on him on that play. And that was the penalty that actually may change the game, the tempo of this game.
First down at the 19 of Southern California. 11 seconds left in the third quarter. Huskies 17 and the Trojans 10. Huskies trying to win today and win the right to go to the Rose Bowl right here. And forget about the Cougars of Washington State up in Spokane next Saturday.
Yes, Mike, they'll get to clinch the whole Rose Bowl picture.
It's Kyle Stevens. 3 Trojans are there to throw him back. Busick in on the play. High was Georgia Chica, and let's see who hit him low. Byron Darby. That's the end of the third quarter. Huskies 17, the Trojans 10. Quarterback Gordon Adams of SC is believed to have suffered a torn medial ligament in his right knee. The injury occurred just on about the last play of the first half, when right prior to Eric Kipp kicking that field goal. So Adams is out. Linebacker Eric Scoggins is out, and this is the first play of the fourth quarter with the Huskies leading 17-10. Second and 8. Flick throwing, and it is knocked away by Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith knocked the ball away from Anthony Allen. Great play by the SC safety.
Anthony Allen had the ball right there. Flick has just been terrific all day. Looks for Anthony Allen here. And Dennis Smith makes a great reception, goes up there really high to defend and knocks the ball loose. Great defensive play. Great play.
The attendance today, 55,515. About 5,000 under what they anticipated. On a sunshiny day here in the Coliseum, although the shadows are taking over in the playing field. Nobody brought down Kyle Stevens except Kyle Stevens. He was ready to make a cut, lost his footing. And we have said that so many times today.
We said, you notice the Trojans were slipping. Now the Huskies are slipping, Mike. And like I said, that's about 90% mental. But it has to be a little bit more on this field, because even though it hasn't rained, they must have watered this field in the last 2 days and didn't have very good drainage, but it's affecting both teams now.
Reminds me how the Giants used to wet down Candlestick Park whenever the Dodgers and Maury Wills came to town. 4th and 9 at the 18. Field goal attempt here by Nelson. 17-10 the Huskies. This will be from the 24. It's up. It's got the distance. It's good. A 34-yard field goal by Chuck Nelson. And now the Huskies on top by 10 with 14-13 to play in the game here at the Coliseum. There is no change in scores. Both teams were unable to move the ball. Now we pick up with the Huskies in possession later in the same period. Flick pitches back to Kyle Stevens. And Stevens goes to the Trojan 45-yard line. Brought down by Dennis Smith. How many interceptions have the Huskies had today? 3 that I could remember. 4. Okay, I've forgotten one. Dennis Mnuchin keeping our stats today. Tony Sevilla, Jim Hefner, Adrian Goodman, Mark Wolfson, Jim Zrake, and Tom Fick. Not to be confused with Tom Flick working with us up here in the booth. As you look at a happy Don James. Don James, the 47-year-old head coach of the Huskies, who not only is an outstanding football coach, he is an excellent bridge player, and he holds his private pilot's license.
Mike, he knew he could only beat the Trojans playing one way, and that is just pick at it, and he's done that to perfection today.
Well, maybe James will pilot the Husky plane home back to Seattle tonight. Pitch to Stevens, and there is Chip Banks with assistance from Joey Browner. And the clock now coming up to the 2-minute mark. Huskies 20 and USC 10. And another SC player is down. That's Joey Browner. He's been injured earlier, came back. And Browner is getting up very, very slowly. So we have 2:02 to play. And we'll be back with more USC football in just a moment. Well, in unless the Trojans can pull off a miracle, and I do mean a miracle in the last 2 minutes, the Huskies are going to not only win this game today, but they will represent the league in the Rose Bowl game New Year's Day against Michigan or Ohio State. And I think the Huskies are going to be a very good representative. Mike Garrett?
Mike, the Huskies have shown today that they are qualified, just a super team. And when you beat SC at SC in Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, you're doing something.
Hardly any gain at all. The Huskies now just content to run out the clock, hold on to that ball as long as they can. Kyle Stevens got nothing. And a timeout has been called by Southern California. 1:53 left, and also on crutches across the way, linebacker Eric Scoggins of the Trojans. First, Gordon Adams on crutches, and now Scoggins. And there'll be a lot of other Trojans with bumps and bruises as they get ready to go against UCLA a week away. And just 3 weeks ago, the SC-UCLA game looked like a Titanic. And then the Bruins had trouble against Arizona, and then against Oregon, and now the Trojans losing to the Washington Huskies.
Yes.
And after UCLA, there is a bye for Southern California, and then Notre Dame on December the 6th. 4th and 1 now. Trojans have about an 8-man front against the Huskies, trying to keep them from getting a first down. And before the ball can be snapped, everybody's on the move, but the ball remains stationary. Apparently, were the Trojans drawn offside? That's the discussion right now. Jack Roberts, the line judge, wants to make absolutely the position of the ball, and now they want to get a new ball in. Tossed into referee Dave Kamaski. Now, the SC-UCLA game next Saturday will start at 12:50, which is 40 minutes earlier than this one started. 12:50 next Saturday for SC-UCLA here in the Coliseum. The punt by Camarillo. Harper lets it go over his head into the end zone for the automatic touchback. That'll stop the clock with 1:47 to play, and SC will have a first down at the 20. But the Huskies lead 20-10 over the Trojans. So John Robinson, with a record of 20-1 in games from November the 1st on, and that one loss was to the Huskies up in Seattle back in 1977, is about to have his record in late season games go 20-2, both defeats inflicted by the Huskies. Scott Tinsley sets up the throw, moves up now. In hot pursuit comes Garnett. Tinsley to the 25, the 30, and he dives in at the 32 to stop the clock after he gets the first down. 1:37 to go. But the Trojans, for him to pull this one out, they would have to have a long pass play, and then an onside kick recovery, and another miracle. Tinsley throwing across the middle, and a great catch made by Malcolm Moore. Malcolm at the 47, and that'll be another first down, which stops the clock.
This is Scott Tinsley, and he just threads the needle here. Here's Malcolm on a great reception, and the Trojans have the ball with 1:22, Michael.
Tinsley, throw this time, and he has Kevin Williams. Slips one tackle. Kevin Williams is loose down the sidelines, out of bounds at the 30 of the Huskies. That'll stop the clock with 1:09.
Michael, for information, SC does not have any more timeouts, so they're going to have to kind of thread the sidelines and throw pass patterns over there to keep the ball, keep the clock from running out. Here's Kevin making a great reception and going down and going out of bounds to stop the clock.
Well, if the Trojans are going to go down to defeat today, they're going to go down fighting. Tinsley is now 4 out of 10 for 72 yards, but only 69 seconds left. Tinsley darting around, hoping to go. Hit by Fletcher Jenkins, and I think that Caddage makes the recovery for the Huskies. Yes, Ray Caddage, number 61. And so another Trojan opportunity goes down the tubes. 59 seconds left, And John Robinson has never before lost a conference game in his 5 years as head coach at USC. He's never before lost a conference game in the Coliseum, but he's only 59 seconds away.
You're right, and Scott Tinsley is looking downfield, trying to find someone. He gets hit by Jenkins, and Fletcher Jenkins has been terrific all day. Then Cottage makes the recovery.
You know, that's 8 turnovers for the Trojans today. 8. You can't give a good team like the Huskies that many other opportunities and expect to win. 59 seconds left. The Huskies 20, the Trojans 10. Well, they're going to... Flick just fell down, so that'll just run off some more time on the clock. So it'll be the Huskies against either Ohio State or Michigan in the Rose Bowl, January 1. A lot of questions to be asked of USC, all of the injuries, and especially to their great tailback, Marcus Allen. 16 seconds, 15, the clock moving. That could be the last play in the game. Our thanks again to Jim Hefner, Tony Sevilla, Dennis Medition, Mark Wilson, Jim Drake for their assistance on the telecast today. Also Adrian Goodman. The final second, and it's all over. The Huskies upset the Trojans 20-10 here in the Los Angeles Coliseum, and a victory ride for the 47-year-old head coach of the Huskies, Don James. The first time the Huskies have defeated USC in the Coliseum since 1964, and the Huskies are Rose Bowl bound New Year's Day. It's difficult to say one play or one man beat the Trojans today because it was truly a team victory for the Washington Huskies. But certainly this man was instrumental, the senior quarterback, Tom Flick, mixing his plays well, spotting Paul Scanzi, 11 yards, touchdown for the Huskies midway in the third period. That time they led 17-3. Washington went on for a stunning defeat of SC 20-10 here today at the Coliseum.
Mike, and that hurt because SC is looking for the national championship, and they're thinking about Notre Dame, Alabama, and teams like that. And then you get a team that's vying for the Rose Bowl, and they're expecting to win at least one of the two games, and they come out and knock you right out of everything. And Washington will be very happy about their game today.
Of course, SC's hopes for a national championship now dead for 1980, and 2 streaks came to an end here today. The Huskies had not won from SC in the Coliseum since 1964, and then SC's 28-game unbeaten string was snapped.
You're right, and 1964 I was playing, so that just tells you how long ago the Huskies came down and beat SC.
Well, it's your fault.
It's my fault. But it's a great game, and I know the Huskies are very happy.
Well, I know this, too, that SC now has some questions to be answered this week about the availability of Gordon Adams, the number 1 quarterback, Eric Scoggins, a starting linebacker, and also Marcus Allen, the nation's number 2 rusher, went out with an injury early in the fourth period.
And the Trojans can ill afford losing any type of tailback, particularly Marcus Allen at this time of the year. And, Mike, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, they got to get ready because now the old feud, the Hatfields and the McCoys, USC and UCLA, a week from today here in the Coliseum. And the Bruins have had their troubles of late. In fact, their great ground gainer, Freeman McNeil, didn't even make the trip down to Arizona State at Tempe for their game this week. But the possibility exists that Freeman McNeil will be available when UCLA and SC collide here next week. Much of UCLA's early season success was due to Freeman McNeil with runs like this. McNeil, a senior from Carson, not only is one of the top ball carriers of the nation, he's the number 2 rusher in UCLA history with almost 3,000 yards. Kenny Easley, the All-American defensive back, also returns punts on occasion. And when he does, he's a threat to go all the way. Quarterback Tom Ramsey gives the Bruins another weapon with his running ability. Ramsey also throws a lot to JoJo Townsell. The leading UCLA receiver is Cormac Carney, a transfer from the Air Force Academy. Ramsey has a lot of targets, including Willie Curran. In all, 12 different Bruins have caught passes this year. Ramsey to Michael Brandt. So one of the greatest rivalries in college football, SC-UCLA, is about to be renewed. Ah, yes, SC and UCLA, and that brings back a lot of memories to Mike Garrett.
It sure does, Mike, and it's always great to play the Bruins. But most important is probably the game of the city. Whoever wins is the king of L.A., and you just hate to lose that game because you have to live with the Bruins all year long, and if they win, you're very embarrassed.
SC UCLA, always something special, and we anticipate a renewal on Saturday. So hope you'll be able to join us 4 o'clock next Sunday for the replay here on Channel 9. From the Los Angeles Coliseum, Mike Walden along with Mike Garrett saying so long for now, where the Trojans lost to the Washington Huskies 20-10. USC football has been brought to you by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, St. Louis, brewers of Michelob beer. Put a little weekend in your week. And by your Southern California Chevrolet dealer, who reminds you it's the best time yet to buy a 1980 Chevy Chevette.